Now, Alfred, would you like a pill or a click?
Jokes apart, Robert. The release of so many prisoners is wonderful. I do hope it works and prevents further crime, like an inoculation. If they want to change Padua, they have to change ourselves.
I'm not optimistic, Mother, with the possibility of unexpected both short-term and long-term effects. But we have to wait 20 years to find out. Anything might happen. An EBS receiver might suddenly click again and become a killer. I'm very amused, but very skeptical.
Yes, but the dramatic, unexpected side effects could be positive or negative. Not just crime, but a wonderful EBS solution for healthcare with rigorous medical research.
Have to agree, Alfred. It might be wonderful for healthcare problems like cancer, depression and healthy lifestyle. Could it even replace pharmaceuticals?
Pill or a click? Who knows? The doctors will be so confused and the drug companies so furious.
Perhaps it could even become a preventative and curative inoculation for HIV.
Oh dear, HIV? My goodness, I never thought of that. We accept healthcare inoculation so easily. Perhaps EBS inoculation is the future of preventive and curative healthcare. Impossible? Or is it?
Impossible. Blows my mind. EBS may have inoculated me even without a click. What a revolutionary cultural change.
It is hard to change the traditional pavlova culture, Alfred, but even churches must be so pleased with the chants rather than punish people, just like the prayer, "Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those that trespass against us."
Nah, but stop a minute, Mother. You are too optimistic. It is very early EBS days. What about the people who suffered from violent crime? Will they want someone punished, not just clipped? Perhaps they will take over the punishment themselves. Quite an effect on social and cultural life. If someone beats you up, Mother, would you just want to give them a click?
Good question. Especially it's your father who did it.
Maybe both Dad and Mother would need a click. Expectations may change. Maybe EBS could have some strange sexy side effect.
Oh, no, please, not at your father's great age of 88 years. I would prefer to be beaten up.
Sounds like Dad's 89 years problems could all do with a quick click. Memory, hearing, athlete's foot, arthritis.
Well, I did promise your dad a cure for all of his problems, so I have to find one. Could be a click. How about suicide when he is 29 years old? With a quick click?
A quick click. The pharmaceutical companies love it. A quick click with expensive alternative medications. Perhaps it also needs hope. The hope that really cures us, Mother. No ethics in new drugs, but always lots of promises. Drugs that give a quick fix have become very popular with people. More popular than psychotherapy, which may take a long time, go on indefinitely and cost a fortune. In 2018, I think for healthcare, people really want a quick fix.
Now I am intrigued by this quick fix alternative medication idea.
Alfred, are there any ethics in the pharmaceutical business to get in the way of the making profit?
No, Mother. And US healthcare financial reports suggest that the public spends more on alternative medicines, in drugs and untested treatments, than on accepted medical care, and so often on quick fixes that go on forever.
Yeah, it's the same in many countries. In China, India and Africa, sick people first get treatment from the traditional healer with a great cultural ceremony, which I think is hypnosis in disguise. And only if it fails do they go to a regular government health clinic. There's reality. I wonder what effect EBS will have. Perhaps traditional healers will even adopt it. As many healers in India adopted penicillin. EBS as part of the new traditional healing ceremony? With music too? Wonderful illusion? These are exciting times.
Well, I'm not so sure. Doctors may well begin to think about EBS as ethical mind-body control, as the new miracle potential for resolving all health problems.
Perhaps even cancer, treated with an electronic click, would be fit the quick click culture so well.
Yes, George, without English humour, please. My real priority is still ethics, to change personality and motivate criminals to seek a happy, non-violent life. Clicks, only voluntary application. Perhaps to give us all a good life in a warm social system with no more crime? But I still seem to have doubts too.
Yes, I did not even imagine that could the potential for healthcare might be. In 2019, depression is an epidemic. Millions of people are with chronic sickness. Who knows what could happen in the future with just one click? EBS could be efficiency. EBS could be the key to healthcare efficiency in the future.
Shit. Sorry. Beware of efficiency, Father. With women, it may lead to strange results. A friend of mine studied my wife's housekeeping routine, made suggestions. She agreed with everyone. So now he does all the housework very efficiently.
WSM. Again, I fear.
And now, in this new Pavlova click culture, we keep in web touch, waiting for the real EBS revolution. So until our next meeting next year, click,
Click.
click.
Welcome, President Polzer, dear Polzer. So glad you have come to see us again for our January 2020 meeting. 2 years on EBS and we are still all alive and together for our special meeting.
Just about, George.
Sorry? Just the three of us? Sorry that Alfred and Robert cannot come due to work pressures.
But the good news is that after only 2 years, EBS seems to be working well and is accepted as part of the new Pavlova culture. But you seem to be worried, Polsa.
Yes and no. You helped so much to motivate the international UN funding to make ABC research possible. Now, and are those a key to ERBS success? Now I must tell you, I am worried. Should I now ban EBS and it forever and change back the Pavlova culture?
You seem to be worried, Polzer. Did you take a click?
Heavens no. If I did, I would not worry about anything and nothing would be done. I am terrified getting a click by mistake.
I am the cause of all your troubles, Polzer. I can't remember, but you must tell me.
No, George. It was me. And now I want so much to talk with you about the real EBS. It is not the primary good effects of EBS that worry me, but the terrible secondary effects. What are we doing to Pavlova culture for the future? I am full of questions to talk about. The crime epidemic is resolved, but we have an EBS epidemic in its place.
Agreed. But first, the latest news.
Pavlova crime has been reduced and results warmly welcomed by the leaders of politics, business and the church. Many other EU members have begun to investigate and research EBS. Mind-body control with EBS may also have the potential for resolving all sorts of mental and physical health problems, with the result that they don't care anymore.
Large numbers of the general Pavlova population have begun to volunteer for EBS research to resolve their mind and body problems. The crime epidemic is resolved, but the Pavlova culture is changing. It's become a passive, agreeable and inactive. Who knows what the results will be on the social and familiar environment of Pavlova? Just one click and nobody cares anymore.
Oh dear.
Oh, the crime epidemic is resolved. What is wrong with that, George? Are you never satisfied?
Well, at my great age, only very occasionally. But it's not your fault.
Agreed. Thank you so much, George. But I wonder too, is Pavlova now becoming a more ethical, calm society? What more could EBS hope to achieve at a social level? Is getting angry really necessary in family, business and political life? EBS helps us to stop blaming others and getting angry. Could EBS help us to keep calm and, if we get angry, only blame ourselves for allowing ourselves to be angry? Perhaps we should only blame ourselves?
No, that is a revolutionary concept, Elisa. If someone makes me angry, I resist giving them punch on the nose, but I do not blame myself for feeling like it.
Exactly, Polsa. That is lack of mind-body control.
Maybe. Crime is over, but I'm so worried. With a click, worries disappears, leaving people not caring about anything. It has really changed Pavlova family life. Changes is too much that we are all so kind and gentle to each other. So why bother to work or complete about anything?
Oh dear, now I am worried too. Perhaps that Dr. Alzheimer is calling us.
No, I must admit, sport becomes a bit boring when nobody really wants to score a goal and win.
True. In business too. Business motivation changes. When makes money is less important than using it to help others. Perhaps our new MBA will be useless in the new Pavlova.
Oh dear. Wait a minute, Polsa. Perhaps politics could be productive when we all agree on almost everything, without argument, and just accept other people's point of view. Is that not heaven on earth? Oh dear. A revolutionary thought. Will heaven be a bit boring? I have never thought like this before. Oh dear.
Yes, you are getting the point. Do not take a click. I wonder too, after 2 years of EBS, are we really helping people to find a healthy, happy life, or dragging them into helpless boredom? It definitely helped to crime control, but with what social cost and what limits?
Well, with EBS in healthcare, it may be a wonderful future to be able to avoid cancer, HIV, sickness, anger, and even antisocial behaviour, and live to 130 years. People become so kind and uncompetitive with each other, with no arguments. It is heaven, or terribly dull. Oh dear, what have we done?
Oh dear indeed. What have we done with such good intentions? Our road to hell seems to be paved with good intentions. Is this the life Pavlova wants? Are we drugging them with electronics? Does not sound too ethical to me, but I have never had to face this problem before.
Strange thoughts coming into me even without an ABC click. Is a crime-free and healthy life what we seek in Pavlova? As we live on and on, with our new healthcare, to 130 years or even more, with nothing much to do or worry about, with the new healthcare development, we are certainly going to live on and on, longer and longer, but what value will give over a long life? This is my problem. Should I ban EBS?
Oh dear. Terrible question, Polsa. What gives value to life without the struggle to achieve something? We need an active, not a sleeping society.
So now I have become a skeptic, like your son Robert. Should we ban EBS now? Does danger give value to life and make it interesting? The public loves to watch crime and danger. Why? Other people in dangerous criminal adventures. The international TV is still full of it every night. Is that what people really want out of life? Do we need some real crime and disagreement in our world to make it both interesting and amusing?
You raise a good, almost hilarious point, Polsa.
And, let me dare to say it, another unexpected UBS side effect has flashed into my ethical mind.
What's flashing tonight, dear?
Unlimited political control, the potential to control everyone. Not my ethical cup of tea. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Too painful. Let's escape to the latest news.
%80 of prisoners released after successful EBS. Crime epidemic over. Pavlova hoping for the EU. Results warmly welcomed by the leaders of politics, business and church. Many other EU members investigating EBS. Obama also interested. Could both psychological and physical problems, even cancer, may one day be resolved with a click?
Large numbers of the general Pavola population using EBS. Where will it all end? The demand for smoking, alcohol and drugs has faded away. Why? The click gives a quick fix. In Pavlova, a small East European country, the whole society is changing. Life has become calm, quiet, kind, gentle and peaceful for those who agree to have used EBS to resolve their problems. Some others refuse. Pavlova still not in the EU. Should EBS be banned?
Now I am concerned too, George. Any ethical values held by those who refuse EBS? The non-EBS people? What do they really think about the boring, peaceful culture? Do they leave Pavlova for more the exciting crime and corruption environment of the USA?
No. They stay and they will try to take over. The non-EBS people will be both bored and angry. Perhaps there is no limit to what they will or will not to do, either with or without a religious or political excuse. Life may become so boring that they will create new dangers, adventures, challenges and disputes. So I cannot take a click. I must do something.
Would it be a bit like the powerful aristocracy and powerless poor in the European society of the 15th century?
If they take control of the country, will they run it in their own competitive, aggressive way, like Pol Pot of Cambodia in 1975, 78, when over 2 million were killed? Would they kill us all off?
No need to. With a click, we would just all be the powerful non-EBS people who may be highly aggressive. For them, conflict and war are exciting and almost normal. Of course, they would try to delegate the actual fitting and killing to the powerless pro-EBS people, while they live on in luxury drinking their whiskies.
So now, Bolza, I too am very worried and feeling responsible. Where Pavlova could be going with EBS success? Could EBS change the whole world?
Polza, you raise a very significant question that needs to be studied at length. What can be done? You are responsible for action, so thank you so much for coming to see us.
These problems are now being discussed at government level, and I am being criticized as responsible for supporting you and EBS. I now feel so worried. With all the good things EBS has brought, how to control the bad things?
Good point. But we can't just throw away 7 years of research effort. Can we? I wish I knew.
Excuse me, George. I am beginning to feel very naive, unethical and highly irresponsible. It won't last long.
We love to think and talk about the joys of heaven, but we don't know really what we shall feel like when we're there. With nothing to do and nothing to worry about. Even now my brain wakes in the morning but stops after lunch.
Yes, we seem to have inspired a strange, uncertain future lifestyle. Perhaps we should come up with some solutions. What to do next? Should we ban EBS? Shall we ban it right now? If we take a click, we avoid the worry and we just won't care either way.
My reaction? EBS is not just a Pavlova problem, it is a world problem. Oh, Obama would love it. Need to get women involved. Ask a man to do something and he will talk about it. Ask a woman and she'll do it.
We keep in such close web touch and meet again next year, with hopefully no need of a click. Agreed?
Agreed. Welcome, President Polza. Dear Polza, it's so good to see you again. It is over 8 years since we started and helped you to fund the EBS in 2013. We are all together to discuss the EBS and strange developments in Pavlova. So, have we done well with EBS?
First the news.
Pavlova society has changed into pro-EBS and non-EBS groups. Non-EBS has taken control of politics and business, but nobody has been harmed. Large numbers of the general Pavlova population have used EBS to resolve their mind and body problems. Life has become calm, quiet, kind, gentle, peaceful, almost boring. Pavlova are still hoping for the EU.
Many young people have gone abroad for a more exciting life in the USA, Asia and Europe. But now powerful non-EBS people may be planning to do something more dangerous and exciting. Pavlova, not yet accepted by the EU. Healthcare of EBS still being rigorously researched.
So, have we succeeded or failed with EBS?
Succeeded. Crime down and prisoners released.
Failed. We deserve it for our naivety. EBS is warmly welcomed by the powers of the politics and business, but now the non-EBS people have taken over. Business is surviving.
I think must agree. Failed. Pavlova is crime-free with perhaps a healthy but boring lifestyle. What do people really want as they live on for 130 years?
Failed. I agree. Must very, very reluctantly accept that we need some crime and excitement in our Pavlova world to make life interesting and amusing.
I'm confused. As usual nowadays. Now, what are we talking about? Oh yes, I remember. EBS. Have we succeeded? I'm not sure anymore.
It is so hard to decide. So many young people have taken off and gone abroad for a more exciting life in USA. I don't know how many have ended up in prison there with the other 2 million American prisoners. For me, EBS was a great adventure of treating, not punishing crime, to give a better life a chance.
Agreed. But the EBS potential is not just for crime control. With more research, perhaps, our brain may be able to control every sickness, and even cancer, which arises when the immune system fails to kill off new cancer cells, which has normally been doing successfully for the previous 20 years.
This intrigues me too, Alfred. Critical research issue. Genes are protective of our immune system but go to sleep and allow cancer to develop. And so who feeds our cancer? We do. We do. We nourish our own cancer because our protective genes fall into inactivity. Now, if EBS can get the brain to reawaken and the relevant genes stop feeding the cancer, perhaps we can cure cancer ourselves. Just as we do all the time automatically with all our other minor injuries.
You have made great progress, Robert. Come to join me in Chicago. The body heals itself most of the time, hence the EBS potential is to reinforce the mind and body, and to maybe even change healthcare from pharmaceuticals to electronics. Impossible to even imagine it, but it may be coming. The research would be wonderful.
Thank you for your offer, Alfred. I accept now. You see, I'm still skeptical about EBS long term. We are still years away from actually being able to do new, wonderful healthcare, self-help and all that. Even with great new research at Chicago, Harvard, Mayo Clinic, etc.
But it's our country failing?
Well, it's all a bit beyond me now. Now, are you satisfied, Alfred?
Well, I am for research funding, but not for Pavlova politically inspired. My next article may bring in millions. The potential may be there to change healthcare from drugs to electronics. The pharmaceutical companies must be terrified. I wonder how the doctors will react, especially when, with computer internet developments, the individual can even do more and even more to heal himself, as he seeks his own quick fix that he loves so much. It is so exciting.
Well, it's all a bit beyond me now. But are you satisfied, Polzer?
Not at all. My world has changed with all this EBS. Should we ban it? Even more political change that may be coming. See the news?
In Pavlova society, growing differences are arising between the pro-EBS and non-EBS groups. Pavlova is still hoping for the EU.
Non-EBS groups are taking over political power in Pavlov government. Pro-EBS people are becoming less and less interested in politics, but just seeking a peaceful life. Pavlova is still not in the EU.
And George, how do you find the ethical business school MBA going since you handed over to Pavlova team?
Well, as far as I can remember, which is a bit limited nowadays, we still have good students who study well, but the non-EBS do much better, both in class and after graduation. Non-EBSs seem to be more motivated and less ethical than the pro-EBSs. I think Pavlova's economic competitivity and development will depend almost entirely on non-EBSs.
So in the new EBS environment of Pavlova, politics and business are surviving, mainly with non-EB management. How about the leaders? Are they satisfied with what is happening? Let me tell you what I think.
We need reality, please.
Well, in the government, non-EBS people seem quite satisfied. They have conquered crime and taken full control of the government. Most of the population is obtained and causing no trouble. We are still not in the EU, but they see no danger of insecurity or aggression. Economic development is modest but adequate.
And what
Non-EBS people send their children for education overseas to prevent EBC contamination.
about business in the church?
Yes, they are satisfied with the non-EBS in control. No trade union problems after an EBS click. Alcohol and drug business now mainly for export. Plans for expansion modest EBS, modest tax rates law. Church is satisfied with much higher attendance at church services. Anger and aggression are becoming rare indeed, almost disappeared. Sport a bit dull, and the church does not allow any discuss or heaven due to some current uncertainty about what is like in our peaceful, boring world.
So much for my naive hopes for an ethical world. The leaders all seem to have got what they wanted and are satisfied. But what about the other 80% of the Pavlova population? Do they have a life, or do they have a life of value, or are they just lambs in peaceful flock? Happiness is certainly in the head, but not in this environment.
This strange Pavlova environment reminds me of my non-EBS neighbor who came from work last week and explained to his wife, "Pack your bags, I've won the lottery." The wife, excited, asked, "Should I pack clothes for cold or warm weather?" He said, "Packed all, you are leaving."
Perhaps they were both in need of a click.
Yes, now should we now ban EBS as the origin of the international finding contacts? I feel I must ask your advice. What must be done about EBS? We are crime-free, but still not admitted to the EU.
Oh, what a terrible question, Polsa. After all you gave done to make it happen, the powerful people seem to be satisfied and the others just accept it, even though life has become so strange and negative in Pavlova. Let's meet again tomorrow to think about what we might do to help you, Polsa. Agreed?
Agreed. So, please, we are all together. Terrible news. Polsa can't come. He has contacted me. He has having great trouble with the non-EBS members in the government who want to get him out for raising too many thought questions. They suggest a click to improve relations, but he refuses. We must see him soon.
Let's get the news of today, George. With all that the noise outside, something is going on in Pavlova. Oh dear.
Here is the latest news.
3 hours ago, Pavlova was invaded by terrorists in an al-Babab attempt to take over the country as a feudal terrorist state. The Pavlova non-EBS